Welcome back to Voyage Beyond, where I explore concept art. Since it is October, I wanted to create a piece with a Halloween theme. Still being a few weeks off, I decided it should be a little less spooky. And so the voyage continues with a new style this week, where I take photos I found on the web and turn them into a new creation. For this, I headed over to one of my favorite sites, Unslpash. Unslpash is a fantastic site. They have professional photos that are completely free to use. This is where I got all my photos for this video. Although they do not sponsor me, which I think it would be really cool if they did, you should definitely go and check them out. Now back to the video. When I was finding these images, the photo with flying books stood out to me. The overall form of the floating books gave me an idea, or more of a question. What if these were spell books? With that notion in my head, I grabbed the rest of my images and began. I started by creating the scene. At first, I focused on creating the room, making sure that the angles of the walls and the floors match up. Then I blended it all together. I then created a layer to overlay color. Once the color was consistent, I started adding shadows. Once the background was laid out, I started adding my photos. I started dropping in images and using the pen tool to cut them out. Then I found this woman in Victorian clothes, and a new idea popped into my head. What if, instead of using that classic pointy hat witch, she was the witch? Would she use her spellbooks like crystal balls? Is she a good witch? Or a bad one? And why is she dressed in Victorian clothes? Perhaps this place is a wonderful secret, and maybe she uses the books to travel to exciting destinations, shrouded in mystery. I continued to set up the scene, thinking about things she might find on her journey, and what she might bring home. As I continued placing objects in the scene, I ended up with more questions. How would the destinations appear? Perhaps like a genie from a bottle? Little by little, adventures started to take shape, hinting at stories yet to come. I decided to use an overlay of the golden ratio in order to help dictate the positions of the enchanted objects. Once I had them well positioned, I added flames to the candles and floating papers among the books to add variety. Next, I began creating the shadows. After softening the shadows on the traveler, I moved on to create soft glows for the candles. The shadows for the buildings were next. I focused on giving them a soft glow, as if they were coming to life. Erasing the overlay on the books gave them that warm, light glow I was looking for. With all that done, the magic started to come alive. I went on to add glows and highlights to other objects in the scene. I had found this statue that looked a lot like the Victorian lady. Using a few shadow adjustments, I was able to make it look a bit more like her. Maybe it was a token of one of her journeys. I started to add highlights to the enchantments. A fog-like mist helped set the buildings apart from the background, while adding to the magic flowing from the books. I then went on to add a glow to the books, because they needed to look like they were actually emitting the magic. Finally, it was time to add the gleam and glow of the magical adventures to the Enchantress. These highlights gave a life to the magic, as it engulfed the scene. To make her part of the magic, I added a misty glow around her. When I had finished the glow of the magic, I added a faint glow from the window on the objects nearby. This scene still needed a bit more warmth, so I started adding in some golden orange glows and highlights. I added a few more highlights from the window, giving more depth to the scene. It was finally time to add in the little magical sparks to help the magic come alive. After a few adjustments in the camera raw filter, it was finally done. This piece was an adventure to make. Although it's not spooky, it plays well off of the themes of Halloween to create a new, exciting, magical adventure. I really found it a lot of fun to work in this style, but it did take longer than I was hoping for. This style would not be my first choice, but I'll probably come back to it at some point. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to be one of the first to see a video when it comes out, make sure to hit that notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.